Alright, shalom, all praises be unto Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bahasham Machakodash, double honor unto the elder apostles and elder bishops at Great Millstone who are well taught us his truth. Salute to all the sincere Akim. Now, this is a quick one here. One of the brothers had put this in the chat from Cyber Waffle on YouTube. UK government can take money from your bank. Now, I did a similar show about a couple of months ago. I think there's a government system, a portal they've got, these computer programs called, software called Connect. And basically, Connect is a system where they can just see everything about you as an individual, all your data, all your information, including your finances and your bank accounts and all of that. And it just makes everything about everything, transparent, and you can't really do anything about it. And they can use that data and information against you. Should you be trying to play the system, or you're making extra money on the side that's not taxed, or whatever the case may be, they can cut whatever funding you're currently got access to, and stuff like that. But so this has been happening, man. But it's, furthering on. So I'm going to play a little bit of this.
For Work and Pensions gains new powers to take money directly from bank accounts. Banks risk a fine if they do not share information with government agents when asked. The Department for Work and Pensions bank spying bill has come into force, and it gives the government agents new powers to tackle benefits fraud.
Now, these banks don't care about you. They'll have, I remember back in the day, they used to have Lloyds, different banks. I remember Lloyds, TSB, well, before it was Lloyds and then TSB separate, but now they've joined together, merged, merger, Lloyds, TSB, and they would have like the adverts with the horse, and it's all about you and bank your way. They like to push that. It's all about you and bank your way, but you don't decide anything. They just be doing things behind the scenes, and then they come up with some new law or regulation. You've got to comply. Well, if it was all about you as the customer, then where was the customer safe? Well, it's just bullshit for advertisement, Pushing that illusion that you got a choice when you ain't got a choice in or say so of anything to do with these finances, man.
And I'm going to stop it there. We will continue. But this gives the government, insert statement. This gives the government the power to protect children. This gives the government the power to stop illegal immigration. This gives the government the power to tackle benefits fraud. As you're about to learn throughout the course of this video, a byproduct of this is that they will be able to actually help tackle benefits fraud. But the overarching power that it gives them is the ability to basically take your money, ask questions later, and decide if you're a criminal before a legal proceeding has taken place. The Public Authorities Fraud, Error and Debt Bill gives the DWP agents the new powers to request information from benefit claimants' bank accounts and to directly recover funds in certain circumstances. Now you may think, okay, this just affects benefit claimants. Well, no. The key power that will enable the DWP to request banks to share financial information with its agents is called the Eligibility Verification Measure. It means that when a new eligibility verification notice is sent to a bank or financial institution, it must comply with the request. The information the institution can be asked to share includes information about the account holder, including their name and date of birth.
And this is why, along with like geopolitics and things of that nature, this is why the gold and silver's going up and that, because people are clocking on like, nah man, this ain't it, man. These systems, you'd give your money to a bank, right? And interest rates and all that, and essentially you give your money to a bank, they're keeping it, but they can use it for whatever they want. But then the agreement essentially is that whenever you require your money to withdraw it, you can do so. That's the whole fundamental purpose of a bank. But, now everything's digital. There's no value, to this current currency. There's no value. They're just not. The digital pound and all that, there's no value to it. So essentially, you're not giving anything to the bank. You know, they're just storing up numbers on a computer. You know, so-called money out of thin air. It's not backed by anything. It's not backed by the gold standard or anything like that. You know, so essentially, you know, it's an illusion of finances. It's not real money. So therefore, with your bank account, it's an illusion of choice. Wow, I don't want that. You ain't got a choice because none of it's real anyway. It's counterfeit.
Agents can also ask for the bank's sort code, account number, as well as details about how the account meets eligibility. Transaction information should not be shared by banks, the DWP says. However, with this being said, the banks can actually see the transactions, just not the names of them or where the money came from. They can see the amounts. And this is where we get into the really, really problematic stuff. The DWP will also gain controversial new powers.
DWP is the Department for Work and Pensions, so like pensions and anything to do with benefits and any benefit system you're on, you know, via the government, it goes via the DWP, Department for Work and Pensions.
Directly deduct money from an individual's earnings or bank accounts using a direct deduction order. Baroness Maeve Sherlock, a Minister of State for the DWP, said earlier this year that the department estimates it will make between 5,000 and 20,000 direct deduction orders every year. The new powers have been introduced as part of a raft of measures Labour say will form the biggest fraud crackdown of the generation. The government adds that combined, the plans will save 1.5...
And they're always talking about Labour don't do anything, Labour. They brought this guy Keir Starmer up in there, and I'll keep saying it, man. You know, Omen Nomen Keir, is it in Gaelic? I think Scottish language, Gaelic, means dark. It means dark, man. Excuse me, right? The name Keir means dark, man. So he came up in there like this little lamb, you know, don't say much, don't do much, just a puppet boy. You know, now he's saying all kind of things, and all kind of things are happening under the Labour government. Now we know it's the elites over there making things really happen. They're just the puppets. But they got the right characters in place. You know, they would have had society believe, you know, Keir ain't going to do nothing. Starmer ain't going to do that. Nah. And under his so-called party's leadership, they're just passing all kind of laws, man. You know, he's juiced in, you know, different side of the same coin. You know. Alright.
$1 billion by 2029/2030. Do you know what else would save 1.5 billion? Not introducing digital identification. Maths. Now, it is worth noting that the way that this has been promoted, advertised and shared publicly is that this is for people that are claiming benefits and that the government gets suspicious about. But in reality too, this includes things like your taxes. So if the government believes that you've underpaid in your taxes and they believe that suspicious activity is taking place, previously they used to have to raise a order that was signed by a judge, which would then go through a legal process that even if you're not aware of it, it can still take place. And then that goes to the bank, and then the bank must give up your information. Well, now they're using the direct deduction order to be able to actually access your bank account by simply sending an email and a signed letter, and they can deduct money from your account if they suspect that you've been involved in defrauding the government, which honestly I don't think you should be doing. But then this raises more concerning, and I would argue bigger questions about the power dynamic that exists here. And before we jump into the bigger concerns...
Yeah, but of course it's about the power dynamic that exists there. He just said to you that, you know, I think this is based off the same stuff I was watching earlier. Not earlier, but I did the video on a couple months ago. The system's called Connect, man. You know, the video's on my page. The power dynamic, you know, it's one-sided, you know. My man said that you will own nothing and be happy, man. You know? So they cut out the human side of going to actual judge and that. They cut out the third parties. Now they can just go straight to your account. Right. You know, excuse me all the yawning, man. I'm a bit tired, but yeah, they're going straight to your bank account, man. You know, they just, what did he say? An email and a signed letter, and that's it. Next thing you know, you think you got a certain amount of money in there, and you ain't got it, man. So that shows you. I'm not even going to play any more of this. You know, you can watch it the rest if you want. UK government can take money from your bank, from Cyber Waffle page on YouTube, right? About 2 minutes left and some change. But the point is there, man. You know, that's that, right? So this whole no power, you know, people been not having power, man. Right? Now, on the whole power dynamic, well, it tells you that in Revelation 13, verse 16, right? Now I'm going to read the verse and I'm going to get one word. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Now, what I want to do is go to the word causeth, right? Is it poieo? Yep, poieo. Lagging. Poieo. Right? It says to be the authors of, to cause, to make ready, to prepare, right? To shoot forth, to acquire. Right? So they acquire the information and they start doing it. Constitute or appoint one thing, one anything, to appoint, ordain one, to put forth, to lead them out, to make one do something, right? So if they manipulate the systems that is, you can't do anything, man. You just gotta go with what you gotta go with, what they've set up. So this is the beginning of the causation, you know. Less powers to the people, more powers to the powers that be. And ultimately, it's going to end up in, well, you got to take that chip. No, that's it, man. So, you know, it's getting more draconian by the day. They can just take funds from your bank, man. And they show you that in all these movies and series, you know, point systems, credit scores going down, all that. You don't have access to this in society. You can't do that. You can't go here. You can't wear that. You can't eat this. You can't buy that product, all because of your scoring system, you know. So, yeah, eyes peeled for 2026, man. You know, hell of a lot is going to change. Alright. Anyways, man, shalom.